What's going on, YouTube, Facebook, whoever's watching, wherever you're watching it at? Today we're going to talk about Uniform Commercial Code, dig a little bit deeper into that. I'm a little bit under the influence, aka under the weather. Uh, but I'm going to go ahead and get this work in and share this information that I came across. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you like and appreciate the information that I share on this particular video or on my channel in general. Alright, so we're going to dig right into it. Now, Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. In addition to defrauding the people by using words of art to exchange the meanings of words, the IRS also uses the Uniform Commercial Code, aka UCC, as a tool of extortion to steal your substance under the geese of law. The legislative history of the Federal Tax Lien Act of 1966, 89 through 719, explains that the entire taxing and monetary systems were placed under the Uniform Commercial Code, and the UCC is the code that regulates all negotiable instruments. It was previously called the law merchant and negotiable instrument law. The UCC has grossly been abused by the IRS. It is essential that we understand how the UCC operates in order to have the upper hand in our dealings with the IRS, as well as other corporate entities like the IRS. The essential elements of the commercial law are good, being based upon the following. Number one, we have the good faith action. Number two, we have clean hands doctrine. Number three, we have fair business practices. Number four, we have full disclosure of agreements and contracts. Number five, duty of care. Number six, just compensation. Number seven, equal protection of law. Number eight is mercy, and number nine is grace. Now, under the laws of commerce, the truth is sovereign. That being said, the foundation of the Uniform Commercial Code is indeed and in fact commercial law. The foundation of the commercial law is based upon certain universal, eternal, just, valid moral prospects and truths. The basis of the commercial law is the law of Exodus, or in other words, the Ten Commandments of the Old Testament of Judaic, Mosaic, Orthodox Hebrew commercial law. The laws of commerce have remained unchanged for at least 6,000 years and form the basis of Western civilization, if not all nations. This law of commerce therefore applies universally throughout the world. Real commercial law is non-judicial and is prior and superior to the basis of and cannot be aside or overruled by the statutes of any government. Then we need to repeat that again. The real commercial law is non-judicial and is prior and superior to the basis of and cannot be set aside nor overruled by statutes of any government, legislature, governmental or governmental agencies, courts, judges, and law enforcement agencies, which are under the inherent obligation to uphold said commercial law. Commercial law is a word of truth, or war of truth, expressed in the form of an intellectual weapon called an affidavit. An affidavit is merely a written list of facts or truths signed under penalty of perjury and usually notarized. This is why we utilize our affidavits. Affidavit, 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 affidavit. When in doubt, affidavit. When in doubt, affidavit. because it's a sworn written list of facts and truths signed under penalty of perjury, and is usually notarized. The person the person composing and signing the affidavit is called the affiant. It is survival of the fittest, where the last unrebuted stands triumph. In the laws of commerce, the eternal and exchanging principle of law are the following. Number one, a workman is worthy of his hire. Legal maxim, it is against equity for freemen not to have the free disposal of their own property. Number two, all are equal under law, God's law, moral, and natural law. The legal maxims, no one is above the law, commerce, by the law of nations, ought to be common, and not to be converted into monopoly and the private gain of a few. Number three, in commerce, the truth is sovereign. To lie is to go against the mind. Oriental proverb. Of all that is good, sublimity is supreme. Number four, the truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. Number six, a matter must be expressed to be resolved. So he who fails to exert his rights have none. Let's say that again. Any matter must be expressed in order to be resolved. So therefore, he who fails to exert his rights has no rights to be exerted. Number six, an unrebuted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. He who does not deny admits. So if you don't deny it, you're admitting to your own personal guilt. That means you're silently admitting that you're guilty for whatever, upon whatever circumstance, issue, or situation that you're involved in commerce between another creditor or debt collector, whatever you want to call them. An unrebuted affidavit becomes a judgment in commerce. Any proceeding in court, tribunal, arbitration, form consists of a contest, a duel, or commercial affidavits wherein the points remain unrebuted in the end as the truth and the matters to which the judgment of the law is applied. Number eight, he who leaves the field of battle first does not respond to affidavit and loses by default. So he who leaves the battlefield first or does not respond to an affidavit or an offer or a presentment loses by default. See the book of Job. Sacrifice is the measure of credibility. One who is not damaged, put at risk, or willing to swear an oath of his commercial liability for the truth of his statements and legitimacy of his actions has no basis to exert claims or charges and forfeits all credibility and right to claim authority. See Acts 7, life/death of Stephen. He who bears the burden ought also to derive from the benefit. Let's say that again. So sacrifice is the measure of credibility. One who is not damaged or is put at risk or is willing to swear on the oath on his commercial liability for the truth of his statements and legitimacy of his actions has no basis to assert claims or charges and forfeits all credibility and rights to claim authority. He who bears the burden ought also to derive the benefit. Number 10, a lien or claim under commercial law can only be satisfied by one of the following actions. If the plaintiff does not prove his case, the defiant is absolved. The defendant is absolved. 10.1. A rebuttal affidavit of truth supported by any evidence point by point. 10.2 is payment. 10.3 is agreement. 10.4 is resolution by a jury according to the rules of common law. So these are the different points of actions that a lien or a claim on the commercial law can be satisfied. Why is that? Because the truth is sovereign in commerce, and everyone is responsible for propagating the truth in all speaking, writing, and acting. All commercial processes function via affidavit. All commercial processes function via affidavit. All commercial processes function via affidavit, certified and sworn on each affiant's commercial liability are true, correct, and complete. Attested under oath read the validity, relevance, and veracity of all matters stated and likewise demanded, usually in writing matters, such as on the IRS Form 1040, 8300, and etc., voter registration application, driver's license application, notary form for document certification application for a Treasury direct account, and on nearly every document that those who run to the system or those who run the system desire anyone to sign in the commercially binding matter. Signing is required under penalty of perjury, true, correct, and complete. In a court settling, however, testimony, oral commercial affidavit, is stated in a judicial equivalent by being sworn to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. As well, the need for asserting all matters under solemn oath of personal, commercial, financial, and legal liability for the validity of each of every statement. Participant must provide materials, evidence, ledgers, bookkeeping, sustaining that each fact or entry is true, valid, relevant, and verifiable. Without said acceptance of liability and facts provided to support one's assertions, no credibility is established. We're going to end it right there. The part 2 is going to be the unrefuted affidavit stands as truth. To be continued. Gonna go drink some more tea and take some medicine. Yeah. And go kick the dog. Fluffy, shut up.